hostess is having a few of her friends to her home for a birthday party. But she will be more observing of her own manners and those of others, too. That amount seems too much. A lady is not flattered by being offered a portion the size that might appeal to a hungry lumberjack.
And please go easy on fried food. Beautiful skin, vitality, glossy hair, all the things you want begin with a balanced diet.
Sometimes loneliness, disappointment, or sheer boredom tempt young and old alike to indulge in food to the point where eating replaces other normal activities, often with consequences particularly sad for the young, for many of the natural joys of youth may slip away from the too fat.
Women's bodies have been subjected to the critical eye of society for decades. No matter the topic of conversation, the dinner table is often associated with judgment and performative behaviors.
There are so many wrong ways of sitting down that I couldn't begin to show you all of them.
How should we sit? Like this?
I think you should
change around?
Sit how you feel comfortable sitting.
Okay.
But it's time to address the elephant in the room, which is why I sat down with my friend and fellow college student Abby Johansson to talk about diet culture over pizza.
Let's do it. I'm excited. Got some Domino's here with us.
I know.
Here's a plate for you.
Thank you. Pizza is like, I feel like it's like the quintessential junk food.
It's something that's so laden with diet culture tropes and morality. Like, I know for me, I'll have friends who were eating pizza on the weekend and they're like, oh, I'm so bad for eating this, or oh, I'm so like fat now, look how bloated I am. Like, you know, being in a larger body is a bad thing and eating pizza is a bad thing. So it's really interesting, and I feel like ironic that we're here now doing just that and talking about diet culture because it's so tied to pizza.
As a Morris Fellow and a communications major, Abby is researching diet culture and the rhetoric behind it. She's found the college environment encourages disordered behavior at times.
You're coming to this place where you know no one. It's your first semester ever at college, so it's really scary in a lot of ways. And I translated that anxiety onto my relationship with food and body, and like feeling really stressed out when I went to eat in the COG, our school cafeteria, and comparing the amount of food I ate with the amount of food my roommate ate, and comparing my body to like people who were smaller than me or taller than me. And it was a really toxic cycle.
So many expectations when it comes to college. You're expected to be in the best shape of your life. People always talk about like, oh, I wish I could go back to my college body, and I wish I could go back to my college days. And then at the same time, like you said, you're also expected to gain weight. The stressful transition to college, coupled with the societal push to avoid the fabled freshman 15, are common factors that lead to disordered thinking and eating habits at this age. Results from a 2013 study from the National Eating Disorders Association found a notable increase in eating disorders on college campuses over a 13-year span.
It was a really toxic cycle, and I think it is so easy because growing up, you're already informed and socialized into the practice of comparison, comparing your bodies and eating habits to other people. And then you get to college and it's like you're surrounded by a ton of people who are all the same age, who have all been socialized into the same thing. So everybody, it feels like, is judging you and analyzing you, and of course it's not true. It's the dichotomy that's set up can often result in eating disorders or disordered eating, like people not eating all day so they can have a few drinks and then be super drunk in the evening and like saving up their calories till then, or, you know, exercising really vigorously to work off the food so they don't gain weight.
Abby shared that she, like many women in society, struggled with body image well before college.
Well, I know for me, like growing up, obviously as a woman, I was socialized into like unattainable beauty standards from birth. So as I got older and started to go through puberty, I really became conscious of the way other people looked around me and how I looked in relation to them. And there was a lot of comparison. And my body image really started to plummet, so that by freshman year of high school, I was in a really dark place mentally and physically. And I did eventually get out of that. But looking back on that experience now, it wasn't just me having that problem out of thin air. That problem was a product of the society I grew up in, a society that is fat phobic, that discriminates against people of different body types and shapes, and that normalizes restrictive eating patterns.
The pressure to take up as little space as possible has burdened women for generations. But college-age women of today have an additional beast to slay.
I have to weigh 130 pounds. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it in this video.
Eating what my skinny sister eats in a day. 11 is what I eat in a day. No meat, dairy, eggs.
Social media gives anyone and everyone a platform to voice their opinions on diet culture and outward appearances. Generation Z has been absorbing this almost their entire lives.
Social media can be a great place, but it can also be a really detrimental place. And I feel like it can often amplify the stereotypes and oppressive ideas that are already in our society.
I feel like I get a lot of content about body image and diet, and most of them actually are positive. However, as great as it is to have this positive content, sometimes it just feels like an overload.
Additionally, social media has given rise to the concept of aesthetics and a supposed right way to live. The reality is, this is not always attainable.
You're in college, you're busy, and like there's no way to do everything perfectly. And I've definitely felt that way before too. Like I used to really tie into like healthist notions of eating. So the idea that like if you're eating healthier foods, you're a morally superior person. So for me, it was very like, I have to only eat whole grains and lots of fruits and veggies. And when I learned that it's healthier for me to just let go of those expectations for myself and just live the life that feels best for me, it was really powerful.
You better slow down. He's an angry one.
Learning how to grocery shop, navigating a new town, and cooking for yourself all come with a process of trial and error.
And that really ties into like food being about accessibility, right? So food isn't just individual choices we make that isn't influenced by outside factors. It's influenced by a whole bunch of stuff. So like, yeah, in college, you know, if people who are putting themselves through college might not have as much money to be able to go out and get food, or people who don't have a car might not physically be able to go to the grocery store when they need to. And here at Gonzaga, we actually are in a food desert. So there's only one grocery store in a close vicinity, which is Safeway, but it's actually the most expensive Safeway in the entire state.
There are so many factors that contribute to the fluctuation in weight during your college years. Our generation faces the age-old challenges of adaptation and peer pressure, but must also work to overcome the edited archetypes about diet culture that social media has fed us since before puberty. Insecurity and anxiety are unavoidable during this period of our lives, but the best way to adjust is by taking away the stigma.
There's so many stories of diet culture, and we can't even begin to understand everybody's in this talk.
Yeah, and I think it's important even to just get that conversation going, because I feel like there's a lot of shame and stigma around having negative body image or having a negative relationship with food. When, of course, people aren't going to have perfectly healthy relationships with themselves, you know, living in this toxic environment. So I think it's really helpful that we do have these conversations to shed light on the issue.
I'm getting another piece of pizza now.
Yeah, I know, I forgot about mine, and now it's cold. So stop recording on them?
Yeah, I say, yeah.
Do you guys want some pizza?